I always get that wrong because it's
know,
like
everyone does.
where did you grow up? No, you grew up in the UK though.
Yeah, I grew up in Wales, but it's Dutch.
Oh,
But it's like my great granddad's Dutch, so
nice.
yeah.
All right.
You can say fridge magnet if you want. That's fine. Most people do.
What's your climbing look like in the last, I don't know, like couple of weeks? What you've been up to?
Last couple of weeks, mainly bouldering. Yeah,
Okay.
weather's been pretty bad. It was my birthday a few weeks ago.
Ah,
Thank you. We managed to escape to the Lake District.
Nice.
Went on the Bowderstone for the first time.
Very
That
good.
was pretty good, yeah. And yeah, just lots of grit basically.
Yeah.
It's been good conditions for grit, so just been getting out on the grit a lot.
Comp training?
Little bit of comp training, yeah. So we've got a lead selection comp coming up in a few weeks. So being back on the sharp end, which has been pretty it was pretty bad at the start, but it's slowly getting better.
Yeah.
So hopefully in a few weeks I'll be like primed.
Nice. Okay, so at the moment you're GB team for lead?
Boulder and lead.
Boulder and lead.
Yeah, though the last few years haven't been as many comps due to COVID and whatnot, but it seems like this season seems to be going pretty much ahead.
And then the selection coming up in a couple of weeks is for
the lead.
For the lead.
Yeah, yeah.
So what does that mean that you'll be doing? Are you in for like lead comp season for the next year? Does that mean?
So we have this selection event, and then if you do well at the selection event, you'll either get put into the World Cup team or the European Cup team, and then you'll go to your designated events.
Nice.
There's one in Bali this year, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
So when it comes to comps, there's obviously like all the World Cups and stuff, and then have you got a bunch of like comps in the UK?
Yeah, so it's coming up to like, I guess that sort of season as well. So we've got Quiff at the Climbing Works in Sheffield at the end of March, maybe?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Plywood Masters in a few weeks as well. But it's like really good training to get you ready for like either the World Cups or the boulder selection events. So it's pretty fun because like everyone comes and like friends like compete against each other. It's like quite a nice atmosphere.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you always done, even as a kid, did you do comps and stuff?
Yeah, when I was a junior, I was on the junior GB team. So when I started climbing when I was like super young, like 7 years old, and we like trained for the like junior selection events and the junior leads and the junior boulders, and it was like super fun because I was in a squad. So again, I got selected onto the junior team and just like competed all the way through that.
So even though you did like loads of comps and you obviously learnt to climb at a wall, is that right?
Yeah, I started at a wall.
And then when did you start like climbing outside more?
Pretty much in the first sort of maybe 4 or 5 years of when I started climbing. So I was pretty lucky that my coach at the time was like super psyched on outdoor climbing, and I also lived in South Wales, so the Gower was like right on my doorstep. So yeah, pretty much have been climbing outside for almost as long as I've been climbing, which is super nice, and that's probably why I love outdoor climbing a bit more than comps.
So when you got into outdoor climbing, was that just like someone taking you out and just sort of like showing you the ropes type of thing?
Yeah, basically, yeah. It was just like, my coach would just sort of have a lot of faith in me and just be like, go up that one, and then I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Was that like sport climbing or was that?
Sport climbing and a little bit of bouldering at Dinas Rock in South Wales.
Okay.
But yeah, mainly sport climbing.
And then, so you were based in South Wales for like a long time.
Yeah.
And then after that you were Bristol?
So then I went to Exeter Uni,
Okay.
and then I got like well into the outdoor climbing because it's got some amazing stuff on the coast there. And then moved to Bristol and now up in Sheffield.
Amazing. So so sport climbing wise, you're a pretty accomplished sport climber. Like highlights from the last few years?
I've managed to climb 8C, which is pretty good. Well, I've done 2 now, so sort of establishing at that grade. So I was pretty psyched to do that. I did Mecca Extension at the tour.
Good. Local. That's
Yeah,
good.
local
to
test
hear.
piece. And it's like a piece of history as well, Mecca, so it's nice to tick that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd love to keep pushing sport climbing, see where I can take that. That'd be good.
Yeah, it's amazing. So like bouldering wise, have you sort of just put that on the back burner for like recent times?
I still enjoy bouldering, and I think bouldering is really good training for like sport climbing. I had a goal like last year to like boulder 8A, so like bouldered a few 8As, and I would still like to keep pushing that, but I think I'm maybe more psyched for sport climbing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So coming up over the next like few months, what's sort of like your plans? Are you going to be local here in sort of like the Peak District, or are you planning to travel? Or? Yeah,
I'll probably stay local in the Peak District, train for this selection comp, and then see where that takes me, and then if I get selected with the comps, maybe travel to Europe or further.
You don't just like spend your whole time climbing. What else do you do?
I drink a lot of tea.
That's good, nice, yeah.
And I pat a lot of random dogs I see on the street.
Very important.
But apart from that, not a lot. Oh, I like watching Made in Chelsea and Formula 1 as well. I don't know if that counts as like extra hobbies.
Does you coach quite a bit though?
Oh yeah, I do coach quite a bit. Is that what you were getting?
Yeah, I was like pretty sure she's a coach as well.
And I drink tea. So when I lived in Bristol, I was in charge of a big squad of like 30 kids, which was super nice. It was really like nice to give back to the climbing community. So I feel like I've been coached quite a lot, so it's nice to like sort of bring up some of the young guns. And I really enjoy it. It's really good for my own climbing, I think. Like it's really good for movement, like seeing other people climb and seeing what's wrong with their climbing.
Do you find that like that ties in really well with like competition climbing? It just sort of like you've learned structures and like learn about structures a lot, so it sort of helps you, helping other people helps you as well.
Yeah, I think it's really good for your own personal analysis of your climbing as well. So like instead of constantly having someone telling you what's wrong, which you can't necessarily do in a comp, you sort of can figure out what you're doing wrong yourself.
Past selection, comp season starts. Does that mean like no more outdoor climbing for like the next like
I don't know, it's really
months?
hard. It's really hard to balance it. So I guess it depends if I get selected or not, but yeah, one of the hardest things in climbing is balancing climbing outside and climbing for comps, because they're so different these days. The comp climbs are definitely not like ratty crimping up for like slightly overhanging walls, which is like the climbing outside. So yeah, I guess if I get selected with the comps, I would have to not climb outside so much. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
So anybody that's like obviously seen loads of comp climbing, like there's been loads of coverage due to the Olympics and everything else. So any of the like younger youth squads and stuff, what's the sort of best way for someone to like join them and like progress maybe into comp climbing?
I guess every wall pretty much now will have a youth squad, so they probably all do trials or have a coach to speak to, so I just like go along to the trials, see if you can get selected. But even if you don't join a squad or anything, if you just go climbing regularly every week, you'll see improvements. And I think maybe the top tip I'd give someone is like, don't be afraid to like fail, because like failure is actually like a really good thing, and if you're not failing, then you're not going to try, you're not be trying hard or getting any better. So yeah,
fingers crossed for like next couple of weeks. And good luck, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the comp season coming up.
Thank you very much.